You're tuned in to Ask the Good Doctor, live each and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, and 10 a.m. Pacific. Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire is here to answer your questions live.
Good afternoon. What do you know? It's Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire. Welcome to Ask the Good Doctor. We are here to help you attain, maintain, and reclaim your perfect health. So grab your Good Doctor notebook so you won't miss a moment of it. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And join me on Twitter at Ask the Good Doc, on Instagram and Facebook at Ask the Good Doctor. And ask me any question that you may want. And today, we've got something extraordinary for you because this woman indeed is awesome. I want to speak to you today about doing something extraordinary. Our guest today has done exactly that. She's known as the mother of Black music. And I'd like to introduce you all to my sister, Dyana Williams. Hello, Dyana.
LaJoyce, it is such a pleasure and honor to be with you once again.
I'm so happy to see you. You look beautiful. Thank you for being with us. I want today to be a part of the work that we do here at The Good Doctor, that which affects the human condition. And one of the things that I always speak about is to not allow the enemy of average to catch up to you. And you, in your career, as stellar as it has been, you have done something absolutely extraordinary by creating a little thing that is now called Black Music Month in June. Can you tell us how it all came to be?
Well, LaJoyce, first, let me say it is an honor to be with you and your audience. I admire the body of work that you are creating for our wellness, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. So thank you. I've known you for decades. You have been consistent as a servant of our fellow human beings. So with that said, credit goes initially to my ex, Kenny Gamble, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, multiple Grammy Award winning songwriter, producer, and one of the co-architects with Tom Bell and Leon Huff, his partners, of Philadelphia International Records and the Sound of Philadelphia, ESOP. So Gamble and I were a couple at the time in the 70s. We had 3 children, and Gamble had gone to visit Nashville, Tennessee, where he observed the cohesiveness and the collective that is the Country Music Association. And what they did was they carved out a region in the United States, specifically Nashville, Tennessee, called it Music City, and branded and marketed this region as the home of country music for white people, not Black people, because we do know that Black people are the original creators of country music. It's a blend of blues and gospel, hence country and narratives. But of course, white people had their interpretation of it and were smart enough to build a whole cottage industry around the specific interpretation of country music that we do, but with great success. And he admired what they did. And at the time, he was establishing the creation of the BMA, the Black Music Association. And within that organization, which included retailers, radio programmers, record company executives, artists, songwriters, producers, any and everybody connected to the creation and the exportation of Black music. So with the Black Music Association, he asked the Godfather, Clarence Avant, to reach out to the White House and asked President Jimmy Carter to host a reception for music industry professionals in the Black music industry, much like the White House had done for the Country Music Association.
To tell.
June 7th, 1979 was the official birth of June Black Music Month, per Jimmy Carter declaring it such.
Wow.
However, I discovered in the late 1990s that he did not sign a presidential proclamation. I was informed by then President Bill Clinton's White House And they said, we see the archives, we see where President Carter hosted this event. We have video of him saying June is Black Music Month. But oops, he didn't sign a presidential
Wow.
document, a proclamation. But we in the industry, as you well know, LaJoyce, because your previous life was in the music business,
That's right.
continue to celebrate. And when I say we, not just people in the music industry, but corporations,
It's true.
everybody from Comcast to you name it, companies are now embracing and celebrating this specific period of time. So anyway, that is the abbreviated version, but I did get President Clinton to eventually sign a proclamation, and every American president since has issued on June 1st a document, a proclamation, encouraging us all to celebrate the multi-billion-dollar business that is music and the cultural asset that it is indigenous to America.
Wow is what I have to say to that. But what I want to thank you for, Dyana, is your diligence, your persistence, your journalistic prowess to dig deeply into this and make this discovery, because it would be a thing, but it wouldn't be a thing without that piece of paper if the ink is not wet, if the ink is not signed. And I
Well,
just want to thank you for that.
the
Yes.
beauty is that we were able to continue. Like I said, this is the 44th anniversary of June Black Music Month. And why people ask me all the time, why Black Music Month? Well, it is a concentrated period of time where we celebrate, recognize past contributions, this current generation of music creators, and future generations.
Right.
Also, it's a celebration of our consumption of this universal language that, in my opinion, is the soundtrack to billions, not millions, but billions of human beings' lives as
Right.
long as folks have been making music.
That is exactly what it is. It is the soundtrack. And you are also one of those curators of this culture, the culture, pop culture, and Black culture. And it has all come into this melting pot of what is known as popular culture today. And you're one of the architects of that. And you are prominently featured in our book, Women Behind the Mic, Curators of Pop Culture. That's right. And your story is fascinating because you did something. And you didn't just sit on the sidelines. You didn't just watch or say we should or lament about what we don't have. And this is the encouragement that we all need today to stop being bystanders.
Take action. I'm a doer, and I have to credit my parents for giving me the wherewithal, the toolkit as a young child, telling me anything that the mind can conceive and believe you can achieve. So I'm a doer. I don't like to talk about stuff. I like to talk it and then walk it and do it. And
Yes.
but I was also very inspired by Kenny Gamble. I saw him the other day, and he is such a champion for our culture. And
Yes.
I was really, as his woman for nearly a decade, I learned and I was grown. I was grown by that relationship and the level of leadership that he demonstrated, not just through the music, but
Mm-hmm.
through community activism. He
Mm-hmm.
is the founder with his current wife, Fatima Gamble, of Universal Companies. And LaJoyce, when I tell you that this man has used his wealth from our community and reinvested it, he has 5 charter schools from elementary straight through 12th grade in Philadelphia, workforce. He has created affordable housing in the very neighborhood that Kenny Gamble grew up in, South Philadelphia. So when this man was writing all of these incredible message in the music songs,
Yes.
his partners, he was investing back in the community that he grew up in as a child. And now they're multi-million dollar homes in this community as well.
I love
But
it.
education, work, and housing, Gamble felt and still feels that those are the pillars of what we need to do to rebuild our communities.
Yes.
As a
And
family. Add that.
That music repository from the Sound of Philadelphia is bar none, hands down the greatest of all time. And we thank
Yeah.
Mr. Kenny, as I call him, Mr. Kenny, for his craft, his skill, and his music ability, his musicality. I'm really just grateful for it because indeed it is the soundtrack of my life as well. Speaking
Yeah.
of Philadelphia, you emerged with something else phenomenal about the name of Philadelphia, not just being the city of brotherly love, but thanks to you, it is also known as.
Sisterly affection. The city of brotherly love has been the long-standing slogan for the city of Philadelphia, established by the founding fathers. However, when I first moved to Philadelphia and came consistently in the 70s, I met women like C. Dolores Tucker, Barbara Daniel Cox, Sister Sonia Sanchez. And these women, when they were speaking publicly and even privately, always referred to sisterly affection. And
Mm,
so being on the radio, I've been on the radio in Philadelphia since 1980. I started using the term consistently. And then during the last mayor's administration, I petitioned him and I said, let's get inclusion. Let us
mm.
recognize the women who are part of the cultural fabric of Philadelphia. It ain't all just brotherly love.
That's right.
These people came out of the body of women. So I petitioned the mayor. He gave me a proclamation and declaring that now we are the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Some people are still stuck on brotherly love, but I keep pushing and celebrating and honoring our sisters, our ancestors who use the term, and we're pushing inclusivity in our communities. So we are the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection in Philadelphia. And I'm very proud of that as well, LaJoyce.
Oh, I'm proud of you for it, Deanna. See, this is the where your iron sharpened iron to me. Because these are the kinds of things that we need to know about more, and these are the things that inspire us to find our own fire. Because certainly you have yours, and you can't borrow Deanna's, but you can certainly watch her flame and watch her light and be
I'm
near
really
her and enjoy all of the things that she has created. And when you say you were on the radio in Philadelphia since 1980, but you started in New York City at City College and then moved to the number one station in the nation, WBLS in New York City.
Well, I had a stop before I went to BLS. I actually started, as you referenced, at WCCR, was a carrier current station at City College, which is where I went in Harlem. I grew up in Harlem as a teenager. And so I then went to WHUR, dropped out of
Oh,
college,
yeah.
and I went to WHUR 96.3, which is owned by Howard University, but a commercial radio station. And that's where 1973, where I started getting consistent checks and health benefits.
Okay.
But I did start in radio earlier in 72, doing radio for free in college. But so I am now celebrating my 50th anniversary because I am a guest commentator on WURD, which is Progressive Black Talk Radio in Philadelphia. And it's an honor to do another format because I've always done music. So doing talk radio, as you well know, LaJoyce, it's a different
Oh,
situation.
yes. But you're great at it.
Oh, well, you're kind. And I'm grateful because you know what? I get to use my voice in a different capacity
Yeah.
within the community that I reside in. That's my adopted hometown because I was born and raised in New York, but my mother tells me I was conceived in Philadelphia. That counts.
Ah, how about it? I, as a young woman, cutting her chops in this industry, and now to celebrate 50 years in the industry, what do you attribute to your staying power?
First and foremost, Almighty God. I am a God believer. I believe in Almighty God and our Creator. I know that the very life that I'm experiencing this moment, the energy, the capacity to open my eyes and function is because of God. And then,
Amen.
secondly, my beautiful parents, Papa George, which is what we call my daddy, and my mother, Mama Nancy. These were two I'm an only child, and my parents poured into me. They poured
Yes.
culture. My family were big readers, so books everywhere. My parents had behind their bed, they had books
Yes.
everywhere. So I became a reader because of my parents. And then my father loved music. My father grew up in the South in Culpeper, Virginia. So
Uh,
we heard music all the time. My mother is Puerto Rican. So I got that side as well. I got the Latina, but my mother very clear that she is an African woman. And
mm,
I went to Africa for the first time with my mother and my best friend, Kathy Hughes, the founder of Radio One Urban.
yes.
My mother every day was garbed up. She went to the marketplace the day we arrived, had outfits made. So I had a mother, while Puerto Rican, was clear that she was an African woman to begin with, that
Interesting.
was our origins. So
Wow.
I grew up a very proud Afro-Latina woman, clear that I also have some Irish and Scottish from my slave masters. Oh, okay. But a proud Afro-Rican woman. So my
Yes.
are after God, mommy and daddy.
That's right. It's so important that we pour into our children. My daughter posted on Mother's Day that about me being funny, that I was the original gangster, uh, regarding being the best example for being the definition. If you want it, go get it.
I mean, ever since I've known you, and of course, I met you first in your incarnation working in the music business, you are
Yes.
always that assertive, go after, make it happen. And you are consistent in your transformation to Dr. Brookshire. Your books, I mean, every time you released a book, I was purchasing the book
And
because
hosting book signings.
and
Thank you.
hosting book signings exactly because I support and believe in you. And I love your evolution as okay, as a wife, as a mother, because I knew you when you were not those things.
That's right.
Okay? And of course, I know your daughter. She goes to school in Philadelphia.
That's
I
right.
know your husband, Gus. I know your family, and I know what
Yes.
you are made out of. You are the real deal. You're the real deal. I have chill bumps now as I'm saying that because it is so true. You are about the upliftment of our fellow human beings, LaJoyce,
Yes.
and a proud Black woman. I mean, you love all human beings, but you have done so much and used your platforms to elevate others and to bring through the messages of other people. So clearly, you've done that in your most recent number one Amazon bestseller,
Whoop.
okay, that I'm proud to be in with other women who I respect and admire. The event that you produced for all of us at the Apollo Theater that I grew up in as a young child, because I grew up in Harlem, that was a moment to return to that institution that so many of our beloved cultural icons
That's
have
right.
touched the wood, touched the stage, but you brought us all together and in an audience, sold out audience. Well, it was free to the students,
That's
but to
right.
high school students, there was not an empty seat to be had. So your work speaks volumes about the perpetuation of our culture, of our existence. You are documenting our being here on this planet.
Thank you,
And
Deanna. You're going to make me cry. But I believe that history should be public and that information should be tangible, easily accessible. And whether people listen or not, the information is here. We
mhm,
are present, and you have done exactly the same thing and far more because you've got 50 years. So I am flying right behind you, catching the vapors, holding on to your coattails, sister. And I
mhm,
appreciate you for allowing me to fly. So thank you for being a flight instructor in my life.
I like
Thank
that.
you. I appreciate it so much because when people don't know you're watching, people are watching. And
Oh
I was
yeah.
watching you.
No, so very, very true.
So
Very
true. And I want to encourage all of you today out here to find someone in your life or
hmm
find someone close by Make a relationship. If you saw Dyana Williams in the street and you spoke to her, she'd speak back. If
Absolutely.
you see me, I'll speak back. And
Exactly.
it is important that you make those and forge those relationships. You write me a letter, I write back. You comment below, I comment back. That's how this goes. Engage. It's just like being a friend. If you want to be a friend, you've got to show yourself friendly. So, Dyana, thank you so much for this work that you've done and how you have helped to enrich us as a people. It is our pleasure. Thank you for Black Music Month. As we celebrate, we will all be thinking of you in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection.
And LaJoyce, may I? Because people ask me how to celebrate. You celebrate, read books about Black music, talk to your grandchildren or your neighbors' children, read them books, let them hear the music that you grew up, that you love, listen to the music that they love and they like. Buy the merchandise of artists, go to live shows now that the pandemic has eased. These are some small, simple ways that you, in this concentrated month, can celebrate Black Music Month. And finally, visit the National Museum of African American Music. I'm a proud board member. We're located at 5th and Broadway in Nashville. Our website is nmaam.org. That stands for the National Museum of African American Music. And it is a 56,000 square foot facility with 7 galleries dedicated to all genres and subgenres of Black music. Take out a membership, come visit us, go online, look at our events, our activities. That's namam.org. Happy June, Black Music Month. Every month is Black Music and Culture Month. Thank you.
Amen to that. Thank you, Dyana. We will see you again. It won't be the last time we have you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, that is all. Yay, get the book and get Women Behind the Mic too.
Exactly.
Thank you all for being with us. That's all the time I have with you today. I'd like to thank my team, Christopher Green, technical producer, IW, supervising producer, and announcer today, Chris Brown. And remember to let your eyes shine, cut back on the wine, get good food fast, and go easy on the greasy. Until next time, I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, here to help you attain and maintain your perfect health. Let's do it again next week, okay? God bless you.